Alrighty, just got off work. Gonna put a few miles on the solo wheel. And talk about prepping. Okay, we're rolling. I always like this bridge. Gotta say, I'm a heck of a lot more comfortable on this solo wheel these days. It's not quite second nature, but it's getting there. One of my favorite parks. And off to the trail. Well, just got off work, thought I'd take a little solo wheel ride. This is one of my favorite areas to ride on. Just thought I'd talk about the last 5 years. Right about this time of year, like early April of 2007, I had a nasty little wake-up call. I saw the economy headed south, and it really scared me. So I thought, I actually thought like the whole economy was just going to come crashing down right around our ears, and it was a scary situation. So I was like frantically buying wheat and beans and whatnot, which is a darn good idea. I'm still eating that stuff right now, and I still have a pretty good stock, and I like to maintain like a year or so, at least until I get a house. Then I'll really start stocking up. But I was sort of thinking, man, I mean, this is like the 5-year-ish mark. I mean, within a few weeks. And I think now is a good time to sort of take a step back and see what I've accomplished in the last 5 years, you know. And I mean, when I saw this whole thing coming down back in 2007, I was really really freaked out. And so I ended up probably spending a little more money than I needed to on things like an AR-15, which I've only fired 4 or 5 times. So it was... Oh, here comes the bump. I think I'll take the gravel. But anyway, so I basically put a little too much money into it at first. Then I started listening to what the heck's that guy's name? The really paranoid guy on the radio. Jeez, I can't remember his name. But anyway, he really started freaking me out. And then finally I just couldn't take anymore. And I had to sort of throttle back, or I'd just have some kind of stress-related breakdown. So I basically throttled back, and then a year or so later I found a radio show or a podcast called the Survival Podcast, and the guy's name was Jack Spirko, who makes it, and he sort of gave me an alternative view of prepping. He goes into more of the practical application, and his tagline is live a better life, whether there's some kind of, let's live the life you want, whether there's a disaster or not. And it's just a better way of looking at it. You know, we're dealing with the long term here. Nice little cliff up there. But anyway, this is the long term. So I started throttling back on the extreme preps and started doing things like picking up a few skills and really busting my butt to knock my debts down. Because I was like 40,000. I think I had 40,000 on the mortgage back in 2007, and I had some other debts, probably 5,000 or 6,000 on the Visa card. So I think basically I just started throttling back on the extreme preps and started investing more in the longer term preps that would pay off over a lifetime. Such as paying my debts off. And back in late 2010, I finally knocked the mortgage to zero, and I looked around and realized I was completely debt-free, absolutely free. And let me tell you, it's an awesome way to live. Anyway, I've gotten. I used to get a little bit of flack from some of my coworkers and family and whatnot about being a prepper, and then once I started really knocking my debts down, and then especially when I reached zero on my mortgage, I noticed that people don't give me any crap anymore. And on the rare occasion when they do, I just start talking about how much money I have extra every month. And that shuts them up real quick. There's a nice little bend in the river. I mean, it shuts them up real quick. Oh, really? You don't like my lifestyle? Well, 70% of my monthly income is totally friggin' extra. How are you doing, Mr. Mr. Judgmental? And that shuts them up real quick. So basically, I started off the 5 years as a sort of a paranoid, seriously freaked out individual. And a lot of preppers start out as freaked out, paranoid people. And then a lot of them, you know, whenever whatever it is doesn't happen, like Y2K or whatever, and then they look in the garage and they have like generators and Mountain House, a pallet of Mountain House, and then they start feeling pretty silly because whatever it was that they were prepping for never occurred, and so then they fall out. They stop being a prepper and they lose the prepper lifestyle, and they start getting back into debt and buying new cars and all kinds of stuff like that. So basically, it's the people who are able to sort of throttle back and start thinking about prepping objectively and start going for the long term and doing things like knocking their debts down and changing their preparedness so that they actually have a better life. Those are the people who actually stick to the prepper lifestyle and end up profiting by it and becoming vastly more financially secure over that amount of time. So it's just basically a better way to live. And it's really paid off. In the last year and a half, after I finally paid the mortgage off, got completely debt-free, finally, I mean, the money is just piling up. It's just crazy. So, yeah, I rarely get any serious bullshit from people as far as this goes. I mean, I get plenty for other reasons. So basically, it's just a better way to live. Hey, there's another shot of the river down there. Kind of disquieting. Every once in a while, this solo wheel picks up a rock or something, then it sucks it into the fender, and you can hear it bouncing around until it's spat back out in the front. But it hasn't knocked me on my face yet. I think I'll go over here and practice a few turns. Got a little off-the-leash dog park up here. Well, that pretty much completes my thought. Didn't want to say much more than that. I'm just saying that, so this is sort of the 5-year anniversary of living the prepper lifestyle, and I just gotta say that it has really worked out well. It's just completely a better way to live. No regrets. And 5 years is a long time. It's like a quarter of 20 years. A significant chunk of my life is now under the prepper lifestyle. And man, when you compare my finances to other people's who like bought a McMansion and have a new car and of course have families and stuff, but when you compare my lifestyle and my finances to theirs, it's just, you can't compare it. It's like night and day, completely different. Well, that's about all I really wanted to cover. The fact that it is my 5-year anniversary of being a prepper, and how I've gone through several stages in prepping. I've started out at the paranoia stage, and then I moved on to I stopped sprinting and started more of a running, like a marathon. So basically, I came into the prepper lifestyle probably having about $45,000 in debt, which is not a lot compared to most Americans, but that's a significant amount of money. And then over 5 years, I knocked that to zero, and now I've probably got about, my condo's paid off, and plus I have like savings and assets of maybe $60,000 or so. So yeah, I'm doing pretty darn good. And the prepper lifestyle and the more frugal, common sense way of living, it's got perks. I mean, big time perks. My stress level is a fraction of what almost all of my coworkers experience, and my coworkers. I mean, I got a good job, very stable job, blue collar, being a diesel mechanic. You might get laid off from one company, but if you do, you can go right to work for somebody right next door. So it's a very stable career, but my financial situation has made me vastly more stable than even my coworkers. So basically, just wanted to cover, it's been 5 years, and I'm not going to change anything. I don't make very many videos these days because most of what I want to say has been said, and I generally only make a new video when I think of something new to say, which often doesn't really happen. So I just sort of, weeks can go by. So, but that doesn't mean I'm falling out of the prepper lifestyle. This is the way I am going to live until I drop, because it is the way to live, if you ask me. So that's about it. Keep prepping. Keep enjoying the prepper lifestyle. Keep enjoying that low stress life, the low debt, much extra money lifestyle. And I'll catch you later. My main goal now is saving. I want to save for another year, and then purchase a house with a big, huge down payment, and drop this condo onto the market, and then use the money from the condo to knock the mortgage on the house to zero. And then in about a year, it'll cost me a year of lifespan. Nothing is free. Basically, it'll take about a year, but I want to be able to move into my house and then knock the thing to zero, and then be a debt-free homeowner of a house with a big garden and all that good stuff. But as I was saying, nothing is free. We trade months and years of our life to achieve the goals that we want. And I can look at my videos 5 years ago, and I look noticeably younger. About as healthy, possibly even more healthy now because I eat better. But basically, we trade our years of our lives to accomplish what we want and have the experiences we want. So, and we have a limited number of them, so you don't waste them. But well, that's an incomplete thought, but there you are. So I'm going to continue in the prepper lifestyle, and I certainly enjoy living this way. So anytime I think of something new to say, I'll make a new video. So I'll see you later.